Hey, happy fall, and the fall is my favorite time of year. Not only do we have the changing of the trees and my birthday, but I love the crisp, cool air, and I love being creative in the kitchen. I love making different types of soups just to warm the soul, right? Soup's good for the soul. So today's recipe, I am making a butternut squash soup. So what I have here is chopped up butternut squash. It was about one medium to large butternut squash, one Granny Smith apple. Don't know if you can see that. Oops, knocked it on the floor. And I have a small onion. And I'm going to move you over here to the stove area where I'm going to do some cooking. So I have an onion here, and I am just going to dump it into a pan that has been heating on the stove. There's some olive oil in it. And all I'm going to do is saute these onions until they become soft. This is really quite an easy recipe to make. All it's going to require is a little bit of prep time. That took me about 10 minutes to cut everything up. And then it's going to take another 20 or 30 minutes on the stove. How easy is that? So these are getting nice, little bit of caramelization on them. And it's smelling really good. So here we go. Nice little bit of browning along some of the edges. Right there. So we're going to continue sauteing these. And to that, I'll add the other ingredients. All right, so this has been sauteing. I'm going to add the other ingredients. And again, it's really quite a simple recipe. The hardest part is probably prepping. So I have the butternut squash. I'm going to add to the pan. Stir that around. To that, I'm going to add the chopped apple. And while these are all big pieces, all we're trying to do is get them softened up, because when this is done in about 30 minutes, I'm going to take an emulsifier and emulsify it so that it is a soup-like consistency. To that, recipe calls for fresh sage, actually a sage leaf, and I don't have one. I forgot it at the store. So I have some ground. Well, I'm trying to get the lid off, but I can't. So I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons, and again, I always just use my hand. Couple of teaspoons of sage to this. I really don't like using a shaker. Anytime I buy spices that have a shaker top, I take the shaker top off. I don't have time to mess with that. So again, that's about 2 teaspoons, and then I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt. Stir that around. Fragrances are smelling wonderful. To that, I'm going to add some chopped pepper. I'm going to cover that. That was 2 cups of a vegetable stock. And because my butternut squash was fairly large, I'm going to add a little bit more. So right now I'm just adding a little bit of water just to cover the squash. I'm going to reduce the heat to a simmer and cover it. And in about 30 minutes, I'm going to come back see that my vegetables are softened, and then use the emulsifier. So this is what it's looking like. I mixed everything around. That is the Granny Smith apple, the butternut squash, 2 cups of a vegetable broth, some sage, some salt, and some pepper. So I'm just gonna reduce the heat to a simmer. I'm gonna cover it and forget it. All right, so here this has been cooking for about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. And basically all I'm trying to do is make sure that it is soft. Not so much the apple, but the squash. So if we take a look, can I squash these down and mash them up? Because when I get the emulsifier in here, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing, is smashing them, mashing them, and emulsifying them so it's a nice creamy mixture. And anything that is too hard will not combine to a nice smooth creamy texture. So I think this is about ready to go. I'm going to get my emulsifier and we'll get to work. So if you've never used an emulsifier, this is what it looks like. It kind of looks like a little hand mixer. Has a blade in there, and it's really rather cool, but you have to be careful. I'm going to start emulsifying this. It's on the stove top. It's hot, and I want to make sure that I don't splash and burn myself. So I want to make sure that I keep this low and in the bottom of the pot and just start emulsifying. And what I'm going to attempt to do, maybe you can see me okay, is going to attempt to hold the camera while I do this, but I think you're able to see what I'm doing, and I don't need any accidents happening. So I will tell you, for mothers or grandmothers, emulsifiers are great if you're going to make your own applesauce, maybe for your children or your grandkids. You know, there's a lot of preservatives in all the foods that we eat. And while we may not be able to do away with all of it, we can give it a run for its money and try to make a lot of these things at home, in your own kitchen, where you have control of the ingredients that are going in it. So I'm going to keep doing this, and then we'll add the spices. Okay, so I emulsified it down. It's ready to go. Now we're just going to add a little bit more seasoning and then keep it on the stove until dinner. So I have a little bit of cinnamon that I'm adding to this, a splash of nutmeg, a very small splash, like a small dash of cayenne pepper to give it some heat. I'm going to add a little bit more salt, and stir this all around. And then for the last, add a little bit of coconut milk to thin it out. A little bit more. So you can experiment with this, you guys, and you know, if you want a little bit more seasonings and spices in here, if you like the cinnamon taste, you can go ahead and add more cinnamon. You can add more nutmeg. Some recipes even call for maple syrup, so you could even add, for me, I have sugar-free maple syrup. You can, you know, add a little bit of that for some sweetness. And this is a fantastic fall soup that will warm you up on a nice, crisp, cool fall day.